close out round number 3. It's Paulo Vitor, Damo de Rosa on Mono Black Gift against Rashid Davis playing Mono Blue Aggro, a deck that is near and dear to my heart. Though, unfortunately, I do not think it's very good in Historic anymore. But we'll have to see, because a 2-0 start means that it's not so bad thus far.
We have a confirmed Tempest Jin sighting in the 2-0 bracket. You love to see
baby.
it. And Rashid Davis is a name that I recognize from some of our previous events, playing these kind of off-the-wall decks that I always kind of do a double take and look at twice. So good to see them finding success again with a kind of off-the-wall strategy here. The deck that, as you said, Ornan Bouchet used to win that Mythic Championship and really cement their name on the map, even though it really should have been already. And good to see that, I guess, honing its own for the time being here in Historic too.
Now, I will say, in my trials and tribulations with Mono Blue Aggro, when Field of the Dead was legal, I think Mono Blue was actually one of the best decks to be playing. All your creatures fly. Counter spells are good against their strategy, at least to delay them a little while from resolving Hour of Promise and some other things. You could cross the finish line, and it got a little dicey at times and close. But more often than not, I was beating Field of the Dead strategies, and Field of the Dead, of course, was forcing players to play certain types of decks that Mono Blue could actually prey on. However, once Field of the Dead got banned, life got really, really, really hard for Mono Blue. I was having a lot of difficulty winning any matches. Cards like Priest of Forgotten Gods starting to show up. We're seeing Goblins, which was already a close matchup, but they got to tailor their deck more towards opposing creature decks as opposed to Field of the Dead decks. Things like that have changed in a meaningful way. I hope Rashid Davis wins this whole tournament so I can find a new build of Mono Blue to play. But I think it's going to be a tough road to hoe, and already a bit behind this game here against our reigning world champion.
Look, I'm rooting for Davis here, but I want to save you from yourself. I don't want you to have to go down this path again. So unclear exactly what outcome we should all be rooting for. But how do you feel about Rhymo Cutthroat, Tempest Jin in the face of Priest of Forgotten Gods with Citrus Supply?
I'm not big on it.
No?
I'm not too big on Brineborn Cutthroat doing a nice job this game. Here's the Lazatep Reaver. So that's going to bring a Knucklehead along with it, little army token, and now, we're going to see the Priest go active, so sacrifice a couple of creatures, Citrus Supplier, and the token. This is a Whirlwind Denial. Is that kind of a triggered thing? Okay, that's
it counts it all. You get all of it.
That was really adorable. Your creature's still dead, so that's part of the problem. All right, Citrus Supplier, Priest of Forgotten Gods, goodbye, Fiend Artisan. I would declare Paulo ahead in this game, Dom.
Yeah, sometimes you get to activate Priest twice in one turn and cast an 8/8 for 2 mana. So yeah, or sometimes you cast a Brineborn Cutthroat.
Or as I was doing last week, Pelt Collector.
Yeah, see,
don't forget about that.
What people don't realize is you get to choose the cards that you register in a tournament, and I know I am the last person who should be making that statement, but it's we all need a reminder of that sometimes.
Oh, here we go. Priest of Forgotten Gods, feeling a little frisky alongside Fiend Artisan. I'll ask you this as we're working our way through game number 1 here, and I would be surprised if Paulo were to lose this. How do you feel about Mono Black Gift and everything that this deck is doing? I mean, it's unique. It's somewhat straightforward. God Pharaoh's Gift is an incredibly powerful card if you get it online, but you also have this backup plan of just kind of playing a normal game with Priest and Fiend Artisan and Massacre Worm. Is this a deck that you're particularly fond of?
I really like it. I said in the What We Play for Historic a few weeks ago, I would be playing this deck. I think it's a very clean implementation of this approach. You don't get any of the Jund sacrifice mana problems where you have like a Phyrexian tower and a Dragon Skull Summon and you can't cast any spells. You just have, look at this, 16 Swamp, 4 Castle, 4 Tower. Just clean, simple, efficient. And you don't really need other colors when you just have good cards at every spot on the curve. You have this great payoff in Get to the Afterlife, God Pharaoh's Gift, which is pretty easy to actually hardcast in this deck between the Tower and the Priest and so on. So I really like this deck, and I love seeing, I would say, best player in the world, best player of all time, Paulo Vitor, Damo de Rosa, take that to battle here.
Oh, wow, look at you firing off with the hyperbolic statements. I don't know how hyperbolic they are. I will say that they are statements that you believe in. Best player of all time.
You believe that I believe.
Yes, absolutely. Some may push back on that with the old Kai Bud or John Finkels of the world, or even Luis Scott Vargas. But I think that the fun thing about Magic is I think that there's certainly a discussion we had. You can't argue with Paulo's results, that's for sure. As here comes Lazatep Ariva, Army Token, and now Fiend Artisan Post. Maybe, yes. And Brazen Borrower is just going to hit the battlefield. So perhaps we're getting ourselves in a racing situation. Infantry! Down to 15 goes Paulo Vitor, Damo de Rosa. A swamp has been drawn. We see his hand. I see a Plague Mare, been a minute since I've seen that one. Massacre Worm, Ravenous Chupacabra. We could go on a lengthy rant for that. I know you're doing your best Patrick Sullivan impersonation this round, so perhaps. Citrus Supplier, another Lazatap Reaver. So Fiend Artisan's going to go active. Let's see what we're going to sacrifice here. We're going to sacrifice that army token. This will yield a Priest of Forgotten Gods, very powerful card, a difficult one for mono blue to deal with at times. Brazen Bar was going to use the Petty Theft half of that, get that off the battlefield, and now in for 3. So it's 16-12 in favor of Davis. Priest of Forgotten Gods placed on the stack again. Essence Capture says no. Brazen Bar gets a little bit larger. Citrus Supplier, there will be a trigger, assuming this resolves. We'll have to see. Lofty Denial says absolutely not.
Okay,
Attackers,
so
4, okay.
Decent turn for Davis, and now Essence Capture putting that Brazen Bar out of range of the Plague Mare. So that's a 2-turn clock now. Paolo's down to 8. Got to make something happen pretty soon. Now, Phyrexian Tower with Massacre Worm. That could get it done. That's a combination. But we also have Fiend Artisan. This is where if from either side you scan the deck just quickly, you see what can Paolo set up to contain this board state and try and stabilize. A card like Ravenous Chupacabra maybe would be an option, but Siren Storm Tamer, meaning if you use your entire turn on that, then you're only eating 1 card for 1 mana. That Brazen Bar sticks around and puts you in check. You have to answer that next turn too.
And let's not forget about the copy of Lookout's Dispersal that is in hand for Rashid Davis right now, face up from an earlier discard spell. So there is the Dispersal. That is going to counter that Plague Mare. Lazatap Reaver will be found on the battlefield, and now Brazen Bar will in for 4 more. So it's a lethal attack next turn. But I think we got big plans. Crypt Breaker was the draw.
Really could have used a land that turn.
Yeah. We're going to go to Choop. Choop, boo. Choop, boo.
Here's the dog.
Yeah, I mean, onboard. Do I have an onboard combat trick here? I'm wrong about Storm Tamer, right? Storm Tamer.
We have it all.
Ability. Yeah, we have it all. Okay. How about G3? That's a good place to be. Take a look at the sideboards here. Go ahead, partner.
Yeah, you see Roast Rider coming out of the deck. We mentioned that as this crucial engine piece for all of these various sacrifice decks. Mono Blue is one of the spots where it's actually kind of not that good, where it's relatively slow at 3 mana, and all your opponent's threats have flying aside from Brimwall Cutthroat, so it's not doing much blocking on the ground. The goat's not jumping in front of anything to buy some time, so I can kind of understand Paolo wanting to keep this deck kind of lean and more efficient in the face of cards like Essence Capture, Lofty Denial.
Don't do this to me. Don't get me back on Mono Blue. Don't get me interested. Don't get me interested in this deck again. I mean, I lost like 8 straight matches streaming with Mono Blue when Field of the Dead got banned. I went from like top 10 on the ladder to quickly in the thousands. It was a difficult ride. So don't do this.
But you see, that can still make for good content.
Can it though? Me going on screaming tilt in front of an audience, I'm not sure if that's true. We got a Citrus Supplier. Oh, look at the battle of 1-drops. One of these is better than the other. Citrus Supplier coming into Siren Storm Tamer. No trade. Castle Lockbane, Priest of Forgotten Gods. We're heading back over to Rashid Davis, who's coming in for 1 in the air. Big follow-up. Probably not. Just going to leave the 2 mana up to start interacting with the opponent some. Paulo is going to play another copy of Castle Lockbane.
And that turn 2 Priest coming out turn 2 on the play through any interaction Rashid could have, that's a big deal. And that Priest can easily take over the game. The Storm Tamer, you can counter the Priest activation and you get it all. So no mana, no life loss, sacrifice, no card, anything like that. But that's just 1 activation. And the great thing about this gift deck is you can consistently present these threats such that you're activating a Priest every turn, every other turn. And that's so tough to grind through.
I remember the first time that I Siren Storm Tamered Priest of Forgotten Gods, and I was like, is this actually even that good? And actually, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is pretty good.
It is.
So...
Hey,
as it turns out,
you're talking yourself back into it. You don't need any help from me.
Oh well, yeah. So you're right. Well, after this, I think this double block may go horribly awry.
You see Davis thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the deck list, there's not that much instant speed removal. There's 2 copies of Grasp of Darkness, and yeah, Davis decides not to risk it.
Also, I must say that could have gone very poorly. Play the 2 Spectral Sailors, not block, and then get Plague Mared. I mean, that could have just been... not good is what that could have just been.
And that's a tough thing. You've got the 1 Plague Mare, you've got the 2 Grasp of Darkness. It doesn't really make sense to play around either of them, but you kind of have to play around at least 1, right? There's a second Priest.
Yep. Yeah, I think now's a good time to go active. So here's your priest. I mean, this is about as good as it can get. You're sacrificing 2 Stitcher suppliers. Take care of a creature. Not the best. You play a priest and just pass the turn back. So you were expecting much more if you were Paulo Vitor Damo de Rosa there.
Yeah, this is kind of the problem with taking out Ghost Rider, where if you're milling 6 cards, odds are good you're going to find one of those, escape that. Now you've got a 5/4, another creature, more food for the priest. But as it is, the milling without a gate doesn't do too much for you. So we'll see if this Chupacabra can stick.
Well, you have to imagine. I mean, we're looking at a mono blue player here with 5 cards in hand, a Storm Tamer on the battlefield.
I would be
obviously
surprised.
we can't see Rashid Davis's hand, but I have to imagine there's some good things going on here.
Now, this is a pregnant pause where either your opponent has nothing and they're wondering how to get back into it, or they have everything and they're wondering which of the 3 different counter spells they want to use to nuke your entire turn.
Well, it looks like we got no answers to that Ravenous Chupacabra, so it's onto the battlefield. Priest, we are going to see at least 1 attack. Will it be 2? Also, I have to ask, what is happening to Paulo's deck right now? It is going crazy.
He's put the lid back on the cauldron and it's still simmering over there.
I play a lot of Arena. I don't know what that animation is. It's going nuts. Brian Morgato's going to trade with Chupacabra. Storm Tamer's going to come in for 1.
Is that a perk you get for being world champion? Is that some special skin you get to? I'm not sure what's going on there.
It's going absolutely nuts. And so on one window I have our live stream of this, and the other one I have the Twitch window open, which is a couple of minutes behind. And so on the Twitch one, there's nothing happened to his deck. And now I'm trying to figure out what the link point is, because I'm watching so much. I'm broadcasting this game because his deck is going absolutely bonkers, and I don't understand why. We're seeing Briarhorn, Cutthroat win that battle. Seagate, what is that? Sea Dasher Octopus, excuse me. Seagate is from Zendikar. We're not exactly there yet. Here come the beatdowns.
We got Dueling Castle 2. Castle Lockthane against Castle Vantress.
I typically make the joke that one of these cards is better than the other, but I actually don't know which one's better between Castle Lockthane and Castle Vantress. Do you have any hyperbolic thoughts on that?
I think the decks that Castle Vantress goes in are typically better, but Castle Lockthane's a better card, if that makes sense. But we kind of skipped over it that turn. Mutating a Sea Dasher Octopus on that Braimon Cutthroat, with you get to keep the counter, you get that boost in power and toughness, and so that double block that Paolo was going for to try and trade off of that didn't work. And now we have 2 Ophidians, basically, crunching across when Davis wants to.
Here we come.
So here we go once again.
Looks like a priest activation. Well, looks like it may be a priest activation. We'll see. Oh, goodness. The denial. Oh,
that is backbreaking.
That is nice. All right, Sea Dasher. Draw a card. Play an island. Pass a turn. Tower. Swamp. Thoughtseize.
That Thoughtseize drawn at exactly the wrong moment. You wanted that 1 card ago.
No, let me ask you something.
All that has a card from crashing down, and there we go. That's it.
Now, let me ask you something.